Autophagy is often seen as something reserved for extremes, total fasting, ketogenic diets, or intense caloric restriction. But the truth is more subtle and far more accessible. Whole food carbohydrates, especially those with a low glycemic load and dense micronutrient profiles, offer a bridge between nourishment and renewal. Rather than abruptly shutting down autophagy, these foods allow it to function at a gentle, sustained level, providing energy without overwhelming the body's nutrient sensors. In this sense, foods like brown rice, carrots, and beets are not merely sources of calories. They are metabolic moderators that nudge the body toward balance, not away from it. When consumed in modest portions and in the context of an overall calorically aware diet, these whole food carbs help simulate the conditions of mild energy stress. Brown rice, for instance, digests more slowly than its white counterpart due to its intact bran layer, which moderates blood glucose and insulin response. Carrots and beets, though naturally sweet, are packed with fiber, antioxidants, and phytochemicals that influence cellular signaling far beyond their sugar content. These components reduce post-meal insulin spikes and contribute to a hormonal environment where mTOR is not excessively activated, leaving room for autophagy to proceed at low levels even in the fed state. This slow and steady metabolic rhythm is important. Autophagy doesn't need to be all or nothing to be effective. It can operate in cycles, in pulses, even in partial states across different tissues. The gut lining, for example, is uniquely responsive to this kind of modulation. A meal rich in root vegetables and whole grains may not initiate full-scale autophagy in the liver or brain, but it can still stimulate intestinal epithelial turnover, especially when fiber fermentation produces butyrate, a known autophagy activator. In this way, nutrient-dense carbs don't just avoid interfering with autophagy, they can help direct it to the areas that benefit from continuous, mild renewal. There's also a psychological and practical wisdom in this approach. Many people find long fasts unsustainable or stressful, particularly if they have high energy demands or are new to dietary changes. Whole food carbs offer a gentler entry point into the metabolic benefits of autophagy. A lunch of steamed brown rice with roasted vegetables and fermented pickles may not seem like a fasting meal, but its low glycemic impact, rich polyphenol content, and moderate calorie load collectively whisper the same signals: conserve, recycle, clean. It's an elegant way to engage the body's repair systems without the deprivation often associated with fasting protocols. Moreover, the micronutrients present in these foods do more than just fill gaps. They directly support autophagy. Magnesium, manganese, vitamin A precursors, and polyphenol all play roles in energy metabolism, oxidative stress modulation, and gene expression. Beta-carotene from carrots, betalains from beets, and flavonoids from pigmented grains can influence pathways like SIRT1, AMPK, and FOXO, key regulators of cellular recycling. This creates a synergy where food is not just energy, but information, an instruction set for cellular housekeeping. This becomes especially relevant in populations that rely on carbohydrate staples but maintain excellent metabolic health, such as traditional Okinawans or rural Mediterranean communities. These diets are often high in root vegetables, tubers, or whole grains, yet still promote longevity and resilience. What these cultures tend to share is not carb avoidance, but carb quality, minimally processed, fiber-rich, and combined with periods of light eating or movement that reinforce gentle autophagic activation. This lifestyle rhythm allows for autophagy to pulse regularly without the extremes of long-term fasting or harsh restriction. In essence, whole food carbohydrates offer a kind of fed fasting, a state where the body receives fuel, but not in such excess as to drown out its maintenance processes. They keep the lights on, metabolically speaking, while still allowing the janitors to do their work. And over time, this subtle support may prove more sustainable and effective than crash diets or extreme protocols. The beauty of autophagy isn't just in its power to clean, but in its adaptability, and with the right foods, we can invite that process into our everyday lives, meal by meal.